Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching.
To the 4th Annual Black Excellence Dinner. My name is Andres Fernandez Diep, and I serve as a Director of Race, Ethnicity, and International Engagement for the Notre Dame Student Government. If you received more emails from me than weather warnings this semester, I do apologize. Thank you for sticking with me through every reminder, update, and RSVP request. Over the past year, I've had the privilege of witnessing just how many people on this campus, whether that's students, faculty, or staff, are doing the hard, quiet, meaningful work of building the community we all know and love. People who humbly offer their time, their gifts, and their care so that others don't have to walk through hardship alone. So I wanted to take a moment to personally thank all of you. Your example has genuinely changed the way I think and live. You've shown me that living in solidarity means showing up for others without needing recognition, without keeping score, and without asking what I'll get in turn. It means giving of ourselves simply because it's the right thing to do. That being said, tonight, we honor those whose excellence isn't just defined by titles or achievements, but by their impact. Let this dinner be a reminder to live in solidarity with all, especially the most vulnerable, to honor the dignity of every person, and to treat each individual with respect. That is what tonight is all about. Celebrating those who serve, those who uplift, those who make space, those who lead with love. Thank you all for being here. I hope this evening fills you with joy, inspiration, and a renewed community commitment to building a Notre Dame where everyone belongs. Following our opening prayer, we invite you to begin enjoying the first course already at your table. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Doug Tunton, Executive Director for Belonging and Engagement in the Division of Student Affairs, who will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we come before you tonight grateful for the gift of gathering on such a meaningful occasion during our Walk the Walk week. Thank you for our students, faculty, staff, families, and everyone who contributes to Black excellence at Notre Dame. Father, we are living in times marked by division, anxiety, injustice, and uncertainty. If we ever needed your healing, we need it now. If we ever needed your forgiveness, we need it now. Forgive us for being silent when we should have spoken and distant when we should have drawn near. Guide us to build a more equitable community, a community where belonging is not determined by race or ethnicity, gender or identity, nationality or orientation, but where belonging is determined by our pursuit of the beloved community, a community that knows every person is worthy of honor and respect simply because they are your creation, a community that understands that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that, that hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. So teach us, oh God, how to be a light in darkness, and teach us how to love one another. As we remember the words of Dr. King, who taught us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. May those words not only inspire us, but convict us, guide us, and propel us forward to honor the dignity of every person we encounter. When we disagree, help us disagree with grace. When we struggle, help us struggle together so that we can be the Notre Dame who refuses to delay or deny justice for anyone. The Notre Dame who views compassion not as a mere word, but an obligation to you. As we move through this evening and into the semester ahead, fill us with courage, unity, and hope. And let everything we do reflect your glory. Now, bless the food we're about to receive and those who have prepared it. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon. Thanks for watching. Your Notre Dame live stream will begin soon.
Here tonight, and for making this such a special evening. At this time, I'm honored to introduce someone who plays a vital role in supporting and uplifting students' voices across our campus. Alyssa No. Alyssa serves as the Assistant Director at MSBS, where she supports multicultural clubs and organizations, student-led initiatives around belonging and inclusion, and many of the programs that enrich our community. Please join me in welcoming Alyssa, who will be leading us through the Undergraduate Student Awards presentation.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Andres. The Notre Dame Black Excellence Awards are intended to honor the outstanding Black community members on campus. In the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., these individuals truly walk the walk and serve all communities at Notre Dame and beyond with dedication, commitment, and passion. This year, each award is modeled after a historic changemaker, and our award recipients embody their impact through their excellence each and every day. The Black Excellence Dinner itself is a perfect example of how student excellence meaningfully creates a culture of belonging on campus. Although the dinner was conceived by leaders in student government just 4 short years ago, in that time, it has grown to be such an anticipated evening of celebration and recognition. In 2023, for our first ever Black Excellence Awards, our judging committee received just over 70 award nominations. This year, we received over 170 nominations from students, staff, faculty, and administration, and each and every person nominated represents a shining light to our community. Will those nominated please stand? You may be seated. For this year's Black Excellence Awards, we assembled a diverse panel made up of students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The award panel read each and every nomination carefully, and we had a difficult decision to make, as all nominations were made with such care and enthusiasm. We truly wish to honor and celebrate all those nominated. However, the ultimate award recipients were determined by how closely they embodied the values described by each award. Joining me to announce our awards is Bernice Antoine, recipient of the 2024 Undergraduate Black Excellence Award. Bernice is a senior majoring in business analytics with minors in sustainability, social entrepreneurship, and the Business Honor Program. In addition to all of that, she serves as a McDeal Justice Fellow, a Kellogg International Scholar, and a McInerney Fellow. This next year, she will be taking her talents to Boston Consulting Group in Pittsburgh, where she hopes to empower companies to pursue intersectional approaches to social advocacy. Please welcome Bernice as she begins with our first undergraduate student award.
Thank you. The Martin Luther King Jr. Excellence Award recognizes a student whose leadership and advocacy has championed justice, equality, and transformation within the Black community and at the University of Notre Dame. Here, we reflect on Dr. King's legacy of nonviolent change and visionary leadership. Our awardee tonight has been committed to Black excellence since her first year here under the Dome. Working across student government, her local community, and the Black student community, her impact has been profound. Since her freshman year, she has served as the Class of 2027 president, serving as a shining example of Black excellence. As part of Student Senate, she championed equality and provided a bold and courageous voice in spaces that mattered. Finally, within the Black community, she has welcomed multiple classes of first-year students during the Plunge Black First-Year Retreat with grace and an endearing sense of enthusiasm. Please welcome to the stage to receive the Martin Luther King Jr. Excellence Award, Aaliyah Applin.
Next, the Maya Angelou Creative Visionary Award was created to celebrate an undergraduate student with exceptional contributions in art, music, writing, and/or creative expression, inspired by Maya Angelou's transformative use of words and art to empower and inspire. Our winning student received numerous nominations, with many highlighting their dedication to promoting Black art on campus. Through their 4 years on campus, the student has put in countless hours towards serving on the boards of various clubs dedicated to sharing Black art and creativity, from serving as the president of Dance Africa to showcasing African culture, through dance and music, to serving as the president of the Black Cultural Arts Council to provide a space for Black students to showcase their talents. Additionally, the student has designed flyers and promotional materials both for the Africana Recognition Ceremony, which honors graduating students from the Africana diaspora, as well as for the Black Excellence Dinner held last year, which continues to celebrate Black excellence at Notre Dame. This student has been deeply shaped by art and creative expression and has continued to serve and give back to the Notre Dame community through her 4 years here. And her kindness, dedication, and authenticity are qualities that her nominators all wanted to highlight. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the Maya Angelou Award, Kehinde Oseni.
The Jean Louis Rising Star Award recognizes an outstanding first-year student whose dedication and promise reflect the courage and tenacity of Jean Louis, who always encouraged getting into good trouble for the sake of justice. With just 5 months under his belt, this first-year student has managed to make a name for himself as someone passionate about the Black student experience and dedicated to getting involved. As noted by one of their nominators, this student has taken the time to join as many Black student clubs as possible and is already taking on a leadership position as the Black Business Association freshman representative, where he serves as a bridge between the freshmen and upperclassmen. He shows great interest and potential in future leadership positions, and we look forward to seeing the impact of this Jean Louis Award recipient at his years in Notre Dame to come. Please welcome to the stage, Tim Bob.
Our final undergraduate student award highlights a student whose behind-the-scene efforts and selfless dedication has significantly uplifted the community, mirroring Ella Baker's quiet but transformative leadership. In that same spirit, this year's recipient embodies selfless, unsung leadership through an unwavering commitment to uplifting others. This student was nominated by both peers and staff members who commented on her passion for the community, welcoming spirit, and her efforts to go above and beyond for those around her. Her leadership is felt across campus through consistent involvement with the Black student community, particularly the Black Cultural Arts Council, but as several nominators shared, this student's biggest impact is not through formal leadership roles, but in the countless ways they create community, facilitate meaningful conversations, and spread kindness and positivity. Academically, the student amplifies unheard voices through thesis research centered on the Black student experience at Notre Dame. Finally, during her senior year, this student has played an essential role with her work as a senior fellow in the Gender Relations Center, where she brings her bright energy, work ethic, and of course, her impeccable fashion sense to the center every day. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our Ella Baker Unsung Hero Award recipient, Ariana Moreau. Congrats to our 4 undergraduate student award winners.
Ready? Okay, we'll wait for the awards. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. It is a true honor for me to talk to Judge Ann Claire Williams today about cultivating hope She's a former district court judge and court of appeals judge, but her most important credential she has is being a Notre Dame Law School graduate. You'll learn more about her story and experiences during our conversation. Well, hello, Judge Williams. We're so honored to have you here today.
Well, and I'm so thrilled to be here. Good evening. Now, I heard you cheering. I came all the way through the snow from Chicago. I want to hear a real good evening. Good evening. Woo!
Yes, yes. Right, thank you so much, yes.
That's more like it.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
So you grew up in Detroit with your two wonderful parents, Joshua and Dorothy Williams, and your two sisters. So what principles did your parents instill in you?
So both of my parents grew up in the South, segregated South, went to segregated schools. Every day my daddy passed the white school that was nice and new, went to his school. He had to walk miles and use textbooks that were the rejects from the other school. Same story for my mom. Both of them decided they wanted to go to college. They both paid their own way. My mother worked in the school cafeteria all 3 shifts, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then worked at one of these military bars as a waitress during the summer. My dad did everything from waiting tables and painting. And one time he was supposed to have a job at this resort, and the job fell through, but he heard that the owner needed a painter, and so Daddy had money to buy a painter's uniform, you know, white uniform. He bought a little can of paint, and he splashed it all over himself, and he had heard that the owner came out every morning for breakfast, and so Daddy sauntered by with his can of paint. And the owner said, boy, are you a painter? David, my daddy, said, I sure am. And he had never painted anything, but he knew he could read. So he mixed the paint, he hired them, and he had a job. So my parents taught me to dream big. Can you say that with me? Dream big. To dream big, because if you don't dream big, if you don't have a dream, it's no point in dreaming little dreams. And everybody in this room, all of you that have come here, whether you came here from enslaved people like I did, whether your people ran from the potato famine in Ireland, the Holocaust in Germany, political oppression, all of us are here because our people got here on a boat, except those of us who are indigenous people. Got here on a boat and struggled so we could be in this room. And so my parents taught me dream big, dream big. Number 2, work hard. Say that with me. Work hard. Because if you don't work hard, you can't get what you want. And I'm not a Pollyanna. I don't think we're going to get everything we want. I don't think every big dream is going to come true. But certainly if you don't work hard and strive for your theme, excellence, because that to me is paired with working hard, excellence, you're not going to move forward. The third thing they said was never give up. Say that with me.
Never give up.
Never give up. So if Daddy had not got that painter's uniform and splashed that paint on, he wouldn't have had a job. There were so many things they told me about their struggle, but they never gave up. They never gave up. Number 4, stand up.
Stand up.
Okay, you all getting better. Stand up.
Stand up.
So you have to stand up for yourself, first of all, because there's nobody that's going to give you anything. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think you can do it, who else is going to believe? So you have to stand up for yourself. Stand up for who you are. Stand up for your rights. We have such a supportive staff here. You're having trouble with a particular instructor. You don't know why you're having that problem. You might in the back of your mind say, oh my goodness, I think he's racist or whatever, has something against me. But you know that faculty member is being paid to get you what you need. So you need to go get what you need, and you don't need to wait until toward the end of the semester when it's too late. You need to go to the counseling office. You need to go to a professor that really inspires you and feels you and try to work something out. And then go get what you need. And remember, even if that professor is looking at you in a certain way or the teaching assistant, They have the issue, not you. You cannot let what they are saying infect who you are. You have to, it's not something you want to have to deal with, but you have to let it go. You have to let it go and get what you need. And you stand up for yourself and then stand up for others. There are so many ways we can stand up, and you don't have to be a lawyer. You can stand up in your community. You can stand up in the church. You can stand up when you see somebody who's cleaning the rooms and stuff here at Notre Dame, and you see a student that is treating them disrespectfully. You can stand up for others when you see somebody in pain in the dorm or in class, and somebody who's left behind. It doesn't matter what their race is, what their background is. We have an obligation to stand up for others, because we wouldn't be in this room if somebody hadn't stood up for us. How many of you in this room can go back to your parents or your grandmother, your auntie, a teacher, someone who stood up for you at a critical moment? Can I see a show of hands? Yeah, because all of us had somebody who stood up. So we're obligated to stand up, and that is the final thing my parents said: give back. Say that with me. Give back. So we're obligated to give back to others, and that's what I love about Notre Dame. Notre Dame is about doing good. Doing good, because we're rooted not only in our religious philosophy, but the whole philosophy of Notre Dame is to do good and do good for others.
Yes, and that's beautiful. I know all 5 points resonate with everybody in the room here today. The next question I have is, your parents, you mentioned your father, your parents both have college degrees. What was their experience like trying to find work in Detroit with those degrees?
Well, my mother had a degree in education. You see her there with some of her kids, and she came to Detroit. Blacks weren't being hired in the public school, so she worked at a home for delinquent children for 12 years, then was a substitute teacher for 5 years, and finally got a contract. My daddy had a degree in political science and humanities. He could not find a job. He tried to sell insurance. He was a horrible salesman. He sold no policies. So he ended up like a lot of black men of that time who were well educated, driving a bus. And so my father drove a bus for 20 years. And when he applied for a position as a supervisor, he was interviewed, and his boss said, you know, you're not qualified. Well, Daddy had been in World War II. He had been a staff sergeant. He could type. He was wicked smart. He got angry. There was enough money in his pension fund, and my mother was teaching full-time. He decided to go back to school. As fate would have it, Daddy went back to school to get a degree in education at Wayne State, and I was at Wayne State, and so majoring in education. And it had never hit me until a class I had at Wayne State, a speech class. I was asked, who did I admire the most? And I started talking about Daddy, and tears were rolling down my cheeks. And I got home and I said, Daddy, because it was like, he was a bus driver. He was handsome. He looked handsome in his uniform. They would let me go into the station. This is something a certain generation here, you all don't know about this. We used to use quarters and dimes on the bus, and we could he'd let me roll up the coins, and I could watch the men play dominoes. I mean, I loved that he had it. But I came home that day and I said, Daddy, how could you stand it? You had a college degree and you were driving a bus. He said, well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Driving a bus is good, honest, decent work. Never forget that. He said, number two, nobody can take my education away from me. I own that, and nobody could take that from me. He said, number three, I knew what I had to do to support your mother and your two sisters, because I knew there would be a better world for you. So how many of you have somebody in your family that scrubbed floors, that worked in the factory, that worked as a cashier, that did all these jobs so we could be here? So we could be here. And so the final thing he said, because my daddy was very funny, and his major was actually psychology and political science, he said, I used a lot of psychology with the people on the bus. And so it's their shoulders that I rest on, and why they were so critical in terms of who I am. And if each of you examine who you are, You are your history. You are your past. You are what people poured into you. And so we cannot let them down. I don't care how ugly it gets. I don't care how bad it gets. They went through all that so we could be here, so we can go through what we need to.
Agreed, and that's so beautiful. And turning more to your career, you once pledged to the Chicago Tribune that you would not allow your judicial robe to get in the way of your humanity. Can you tell us more about what that means, and what is something you wish more people would understand about the legal system, how it affects everyday life?
So when I got the appointment, because I was appointed, I was on the U.S. District Court, that's a presidential appointment nominated by a senator. And also the Court of Appeals, I was appointed by even a different president, first President Reagan, then President Clinton. And Daddy said the day I was sworn in, never let the robe get in the way of your humanity. Never let the robe get in the way of your humanity. Remember, but for the grace of God, you could be the people in front of you. You could be homeless. You could be without food. You could be without water. It's no difference in you and them. We are them. They are us. And so when you get on that bench, you treat people the way you would like to be treated. You mete out justice. You look at the law. You're fair. You give everybody an equal shake, but never let that arrogance, and you know arrogance can come in there when we have these degrees. Don't let that arrogance get into your head where you think you're better than others. You are no better than anybody else. And so that was an important lesson for me in terms of how I conducted myself on the bench. So I greeted people who came into my courtroom. You know, I tried to make people comfortable. They knew I took care of business because anybody that was before me knew there was no messing around in my courtroom, but I did it in what I thought was a humane way, even if I had to do things that really hurt my heart, because there was a time we had mandatory sentencing guidelines in the federal courts, and they were brutal, and they were punitive, and there would be people in front of me that I knew did not deserve an 8-year sentence or a 10-year sentence, but I was bound by the law. I couldn't find a way around it. I couldn't find a way to reduce it. But I would say that on the bench. If this was up to me, this is the sentence I would give you, but that is not what the guidelines say. And I had to take my oath seriously because I felt that if I didn't follow the law, then what good was I? How could I do that as a judge if I didn't follow the rules of law? So I just made those tough decisions. I had to have like a split mind, what I would like to do, but what I knew I had to do to be faithful to the law.
Right, exactly. And we're going to go back in time a little bit and ask you, how did you end up at Notre Dame Law School, and who helped you? At the law school, you were also a founding member of the Black Alumni Association, who's in the building tonight. Why did you start that organization as well?
So I started at Notre Dame because of the man in the middle, Willie Lipscomb. He was from Detroit. He had gone to Wayne State. He was older than I was. And I took the LSAT on a dare because all I knew was Perry Mason and Thurgood Marshall. And a guy I had dated in high school came by one day. I was getting my master's, and he said, "What are you going to do next year?" I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "I'm going to law school." We were kind of competitive, so I said, "So am I." I didn't have a clue. He said, "We have to take the LSAT." I'm like, "Oh my God." I took it, no prep. We took it late. I got the results like in February. I applied to Notre Dame, Harvard, Yale, Michigan, where I got my master's, Wayne State, rejected by all, but I had a great score and a good grade point. They said, "Come back next year." So Willie was here in the summer in a pre-law program. He was with Granville Cleveland. A few people know him. Granville was on the admissions commission. Granville tells Willie somebody canceled in the class. Willie said, "Well, I have a friend." And then I got interviewed. Phil Facenda interviewed me, and so that's why I had those 2 letters. At this time, the class is filled, and we are pleased to inform. And I got in. And then we were here at a time when the Black Student Organization was formed, the Black Law Student Association, and it hit us in, I think, my second year, and Angie Chambly is here. Her husband was a founder. Roland Chambly was a judge here in South Bend, a lawyer in South Bend, and we decided that we needed to have a reunion every year so that the kids could hear our stories and we could share and that kind of thing. So we started it, and I'm happy to say it's still alive today, and we still have graduates coming back, telling their stories, giving suggestions and hints to others.
Amazing. And continuing on, Dean Link at the Notre Dame Law School recommended you to Judge Luther Swigert, a Notre Dame Law School graduate himself, for a clerkship position with Judge Robert Sprecher. What did that experience tell you about mentors and sponsors? And in your career, how do you cultivate mentors and sponsors?
So this is, I was talking at the table about the Notre Dame connection, and you know we are in very perilous times here. We all know it, we feel it. There are people that we know that are being exposed to it. It is like you can't get up in the morning without seeing just things that we never imagined. The one thing that happened for me at Notre Dame was being swept into the Notre Dame family, and we were talking about the job market. You know, our alumni association, our placement office, I mean, it is when you look around the spectrum at other universities, it is really a blessing that you are here because people care and they try to get you internships and they help you get jobs, and it matters. So this was my story. So the dean pulled me in my third year and wanted to know, had I ever thought about clerking on the 7th Circuit? He started telling me about Luther Swigert, who was a Notre Dame grad, and then he said to me, and so Ann, have you ever thought about clerking? So in that time from the dean saying it to me and asking those questions and filling me in, I had thought about clerking. So I said, yes, Dean, I've thought about clerking. And he said, well, it's Luther Swigert, Notre Dame grad, only been 2 women clerks on the court. He wants to have more women. It's his last year as chief judge. Would you go interview? Because he called me and said, I'm interested in getting women, and if it's a black woman, that would be great. If you have somebody well qualified. So the dean thought of me. I never played basketball with the dean like the guys in my class. I had taken the dean for tax. I had no idea he knew my name, really, other than the fact that I was in the class. And it turned out the dean had watched me at the Black Cultural Center do some hearings on police brutality, something that never seems to end in our society. But anyway, the dean saw me, and I didn't realize he had seen me prepare witnesses, and I had no idea. So what does that tell you? Number one, you never know who's looking at you. You never know who's paying attention. So going back to my parents, work hard, strive for excellence, we're not always in the room where decisions are being made, but someone needs to know your name and needs to know you stand for excellence and that you can get a job done. And that's what the dean did for me. Now, I had to go down and interview with Luther Swigert. I did. He wanted to hire 3 women. He only had 2 spots. He calls his buddy, Bob Sprecher, a Northwestern grad, and says, I have this woman. She's terrific. I can't hire 3. Bob hired me. Okay, so that's the Notre Dame connection, but that's also your mentors come in different shapes and colors and races. And back in the day when I was there, this was what I had. And they were terrific, and they would do this today. You just don't know who's looking at you, and so you always want to strive for excellence so people know you can be counted on and dependent on. And when you're talking about developing mentors, who are professors or guidance counselors here, or our rectors or assistant rectors, the head of the department, someone that feels you. In these classes, there's somebody you're getting A's from, and go to that person. Be a research assistant. Go to the different gatherings in the field you want to be in. So the young engineers class, go there. Why? Because there'll be students interested in engineering, but there'll be professors in engineering. Like, nobody is going to give it to you. Like, I bumbled through a lot of this that I'm telling you now, but now I know you can do this. You can cultivate mentors and sponsors.
Agreed, Judge. And to continue on excellence, you were the first woman of color chief of a division in the U.S. Attorney's Office. You were also the youngest federal judge in the country at the time. And you became the first black woman judge in the 3-state 7th Circuit. And 14 years later, President Clinton appointed you to the Court of Appeals, making you the first person of color ever to serve on the 7th Circuit. When there were people who thought you were not capable of serving in these prestigious positions, how did you maintain your confidence and not lose hope?
So I knew who my parents had raised. I knew I had been able to be successful thus far. There were roadblocks in the way, but I was able to overcome them and find a way to overcome them. And one story I'll share, and I'm keeping an eye on our time. I went to the U.S. Attorney's Office. I wanted to go to this particular division, criminal receiving and appellate, because I had been an appellate law clerk. But they told me there was no position, and I had to go in civil rights and public protection. It was criminal, but it wasn't the division that normally the young lawyers went in. And in that next couple months, 3 other women came and 1 other black man, and then in the other division, only white men. So but I need to get my foot in the door. So that's one lesson. Sometimes you can't get what you want when you want it. And sometimes you have to take what is given to you and experience what's given to you and realize that sometimes when it's not given to you, it's for a reason. We can't see it at the time. But anyway, I'm there. I worked there for 3 months. You know, civil rights cases are very hard to prosecute. And I had never even done a search warrant or an arrest warrant. So I went to the chief of the division and said, you know, I'd really like to transfer. He's like, no positions, no position. So there was a guy 2 halls from me that was a deputy chief. He was always complaining that these lawyers in this division I wanted to get in didn't want to do appeals. And I heard him. So I went to my little group because we were all frustrated. And I said, if I go ask Bob if we can do appeals, do you all want to do appeals? They're like, yeah. So I went to Bob. I said, Bob, I've heard you complaining. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, all of us can write. There's another law clerk that's part of this group. He was like thrilled. He was thrilled. So then we started arguing in the Court of Appeals. We changed our, you know, the way we were viewed. He became my mentor. But see, I saw there was a crack there. So sometimes you have to look for that crack. Where is it that you can feel that crack? And that's what I mean about standing up. So Bob did that. Then we needed duty days. I still didn't know how to do arrest warrants and search warrants. I went to Bob. He's like, well, did you ask the chief? I said, I did. I said, so Bob, now that we've done such good work for you, I need you to go ask the chief, can we get duty days? And he did. And I ended up being a year behind, but I got ultimately what I wanted. Now, I believe that when a door is closed, you have to keep beating on it till it opens. And then sometimes the door is not going to open. You got to move to a new door. And then usually a year later or 6 months later, you're like, ooh, I'm glad that door didn't open because I've been in a better place. So that's how we have to turn adversity into a lesson and not wallow in the disappointment.
Right. Yes, and Nefemi asks as well, beyond the advice you've already given, what advice do you have for a minority student scared to enter a career field due to prejudice or discrimination?
So I think it's just what I had to face, being the first in everything. It was tough because I knew there were people that didn't believe I could do it, but you know what? I knew I could do it.
Right.
That's one of the things I think women and people of color, or like sometimes first generation people, you'll see something and it says you need 4 qualifications, and you'll be like, I need all 4. Well, there are other people that are going to go, they might have 3 qualifications, but they know that they can go for it because they have confidence. So you have to believe in yourself and believe that you can do it. Now, you have to assess your qualifications. I'm not crazy. You can't walk into the door and you don't have any credentials. I'm saying that you have to believe in yourself and go for it. Because you know what? All a person can tell you is no. Right. All they can tell you is no. and then you figure out, how am I going to get around that? How can I be strategic? So I just never let that hold me down. The first question I was asked when I applied for the U.S. District Court, it was a bar association. There were 40 lawyers, and here I am at the end of the table. They asked me a lot of questions. I had tried a lot of cases, and I knew I had tried more cases than a lot of judges on the bench. So I wasn't worried about whether I could handle it. I had been practicing law for 10 years, and one of the lawyers said, you know, Miss Williams, if you get appointed, you'll be the youngest, you'll be a woman, and you'll be black. So I said, well, you know, I've been a woman and black all my life. That's worked out pretty well. Right. I said, and as to age, that too will change. And so on the bench, I knew I had a challenge because I had not tried civil cases. So within the first year, I took the biggest civil case I had. It had been pending 10 years. It was a $40 million case with multiple lawyers on both sides, and I set it for trial. And I tried it because I knew if I tried that well, those lawyers would talk and the word would get around. So you have to find a way around. You have to find a workaround. You have to be strategic.
Amazing, yes. Totally agree. Judge, you mind if we go briefly the first two slides?
Yes.
Okay. So you're a wife, a mother, daughter, sister, and grandmother. How do you manage these roles and still focus on your career?
Well, I have a very good husband. That's a very good thing. And we met when I was a law clerk. And he loves to cook. And the reason that lean cuisine is there is because my son was asked when he was in first grade, what's the best thing your mother cooks? And he said, lean cuisine, linguine with clam sauce. So, so I had a fabulous support from him and from my parents. Next. And now I have beautiful grandchildren.
Awesome. So next, here are 4 organizations that you started. You've been a visionary and a founder. Can you talk about the power of one?
Okay, so a lot of times people see me, they're like, okay, Judge, well, you started just the beginning, you were on the bench, this is a pipeline program. Because I never forgot who I was and how I got to law school, and that's the other thing, never forget who you are and how you got where you are, and your ability then to talk to people who need help. So anyway, that's what that was about. And I joined a committee, and we did our first conference, and I got people of like mind together, and we worked together, and it started. Same thing with BWLA. We knew we needed something that focused on black women. We were always open to everyone, but we felt there were certain things we needed to know. And see, that's why I believe in affinity groups, because you have a shared culture, and so you need to know what it's like for people to feel you. And the Equal Justice Works Fellowship is started with 7 fellows, and now we have over 2,000 in the field, because I could see that there was not enough money for lawyers who were doing public interest work. So I had this money, and I helped create this and got another judge to put in $800,000. And now we've had more than 2,000 fellows in the field since then. But that was an idea I had. I had a lawyers committee. I had them search for somebody. I believe in the power of one. So, and then the MLER started that when I was a baby lawyer. You don't have to be a judge to start something. And in fact, you all have 500 organizations here at Notre Dame, so I know you all believe you can start something. So what you need is one person with an idea, getting other people to join together and showing leadership. Because that, to me, is what Notre Dame teaches you to be a leader.
Right, and I know we all will take that with us after this dinner for sure. Next, you were the first judge of color to be president of the Federal Judge Association and chair of the Court Administration/Case Management Committee. You served on the Judicial Branch Committee and the Supreme Court Fellows Commission and trained baby federal judges at the Federal Judicial Center. Something I've always admired about you as well is that you've always pushed to advance equity for women, people of color, underrepresented groups. But at the same time, you were saying yes to broad judicial and community leadership. Why was it so important to you to do both?
Well, see, I mentioned I believe in affinity groups because I think they nurture your soul, but you need to get beyond that. And so my career is a balance to me of working with those affinity groups with getting into the larger world. Those affinity groups can give you confidence, can be supportive. But to me, if you're gonna have a real impact, I don't mean that, because you can be in your affinity group and do a real wonderful thing within that group. I'm just saying if you want to affect change at a larger level, to me, you have to get engaged with a larger community. And so that's how I got involved with these various communities. Ended up joined Federal Judges Association. One of the judges, Hugh Will, a white judge who had founded this organization, came to me one day and said, "You need to join." I joined. Then he said, "You need to go to the meeting." I didn't know he was going to nominate me treasurer. That was another time I had to say yes when I wanted to say no. I had a new baby. But I said yes. I ended up being treasurer, president-elect, and the first president. Sometimes you have to say yes when you want to say no. And sometimes you have to say yes when you don't know what is behind the door, because you never know where it's going to end up. And so that's all of these things helped me greatly in my career. But I knew none of this when I started as a judge.
Okay.
About that, rather.
Right. And next, you served on the board of iCivics, founded by Sandra Day O'Connor, the Legal Defense Fund, founded by Thurgood Marshall, the Notre Dame Board of Trustees, where we met, actually, and others. Why was it so important to you to serve on these public interest and charitable boards?
Well, it was important. My parents were part of the civil rights movement. You know, we collected money for the kids at the bus counters. And this is part of that give back principle. And so one of the things that Notre Dame nurtures here is your talents and skills and your commitment to do good. And so to me, you need to do good. And to do good, you have to get with organizations that do good. So I loved iCivics. I love Sandra Day O'Connor. I didn't have time to join that board, but it's focused on democracy and teaching kids about the branches of government. That was important to me. It was gaming technology. I did that. Thurgood Marshall, never would have imagined I would have been in an organization that he founded. You have to find what your interests are and join, and when you join, you're just not dues paying. You're just not a board member that just sits there like a lump. When you join these different organizations, you have to show leadership. Be somebody people can depend on. When they need to do a panel, say, "I'll put the panel together." When they need help, you give that help. So get in first, and then what your role is up to you, what's going on in your life. I'm not saying you go and want to be president of an organization right away. Maybe you're taking calculus or you're taking classes that won't require that. So you do what you can. You do what you can based on where you are in your life, but just do something. Do something.
Mm-hmm. And next, you've been devoted to international training, leading programs in many countries, some of which being Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda. Maureen and Manoni asked questions relating to your global experience. How has it shaped your personal growth and changed how you view leadership?
So I started going to the continent in 2001, training judges on case management, ethics, all kinds of things. I then spread to prosecutors, defense attorneys, public interest groups, women's groups, and I just found that gave me a chance to show, number one, I was not an ugly American, that I was not trying to get them to be American. I always said in my trainings, and I always say today, take one bite, take a little bite, take a big bite, take no bite. Take the bite that fits your country, your culture, your et cetera, et cetera. And I saw that our State Department was not looking long range. And so what I've done, and that's why I left the bench. I left the bench to join Jones Day because now it's 8 years since my full-time job is rule of law programs in Africa, working in prisons, working with public defenders, working with the courts. So very important to me. Plus, I knew my people were from Africa. You know, the thing is, like I usually ask this question, so how many people in this room know where their people were from? The village, the town? How many know that? Show of hands. Nobody at this table knows where their people are from? A lot of times, people of color don't know where their people are from, and other people do, and that is important, what your identity is. So for me, going, and I take multiracial groups, all the time with me. I want to have diversity in my teams, but it makes a difference for me to feel like I'm giving back to that continent where I know I was born.
And thank you so much, Judge, for that and in your service. Lastly, you've often said, never forget and never give up. Why?
So let us say that together. Never forget.
Never forget.
Never give up.
Never give up.
And let's say that all 5 words together. Never forget. Never give up. So for me, in these times, especially like this last year, I say that every morning when I say my prayers. That I can never forget my ancestors, my parents, what they did, what they sacrificed for, because you know what? They never gave up. So what right do I have to give up? So I don't care how ugly it gets out there. We can stand up. We can stand up in our communities. We can stand up with the people we align with. We can donate. We can donate our time. We can do something to help affect change. But that's what I come back to really every day. Never forget, never give up.
Yeah, and that's such an example, especially when our country has gone through so much turmoil and polarization. When you think about your legacy, what do you want students in the audience to remember from your story 5 years from now?
That I was just a little black girl from Detroit that didn't know a lawyer, didn't know a judge, that I was able to get appointed by 2 presidents, not that that's an ego thing, but to think that I was there and I ended up where I ended up, that you too can go where you want to go. You can find a way. It may not be right now what you think it's going to be. There are lots of curves and stuff in the way, but that you can do it. You can do it if you never forget and you never give up. And you're strategic in how you look at the classes you're taking, the people you met. You're open to people. You're open to saying yes. You're open to saying yes when you want to say no because you don't know what's behind the curtain. I guess I would say that she was somebody who never let the robe get in the way of her humanity, that remembered who she was her entire life, that never forgot how blessed she was, how all the blessings God has given me.
And I know that resonates with me and definitely everybody in this room. Lastly, you've often said, to whom much is given, much is required. How has that affected the way you live your life?
Well, I think I live that I know a lot has been given to me, and I know, so then I feel like I have an obligation to lead, to take what I'm doing as far as it can go. And I can't do everything, and I don't try to do everything. I do what I'm comfortable with. Things shifted in my life. Like, I wasn't doing all those organizations when I had babies at home. You know, I didn't start that till they were like in high school, more and going into college. Was I doing more traveling? You have to do what you can when you can. But I do believe that we have an obligation to give back, and that to whom much is given, much is required.
And I agree. Next, we're going to go to the pre-selected student questions and answers. First, we have Josephine, who is a junior majoring in neuroscience. Josephine, what is your question for Judge Williams?
As previously mentioned, throughout your career, you have been the first woman of color or a person of color to hold a seat in a federal courtroom. How has this impacted you and your ruling?
Well, I told you about what my father said, never let the robe get in the way of my humanity. My major was elementary education. My master's was guidance and counseling. But one of the things I vowed was that I would never, treat the parties like a number, that everybody that came before me was a human being that had, whether it's a company and they're human beings representing the company, whatever it is, that I would put myself in the shoes of the litigants in front of me and ask the question, what would I expect? How would I like to be treated? And so I treated people with great respect. And I held my head high. I mean, as I said, the naysayers, you can't let them, you know, that whole imposter syndrome and everything, you can't let the naysayers control your life. If you live your life like that, you'll never get what you want. So for me, once you know what you feel out, what you want to do, then you come up with a strategy. You get others around you that may have more experience, that can give you ideas on how you can break through, and know that you can achieve it. Because there's so many people that look like you, that have achieved it, that come from the same background that were able to achieve, and you should never forget that. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Next, we have Kafina, who majors in business analytics and film. Kafina, what is your question for Judge Williams?
Hi, Judge. Thank you so much for your encouraging words of wisdom tonight. My question is, your work across initiatives such as Just the Beginning, a pipeline organization to expose students from elementary to law school, the Black Women Lawyers Association of Chicago, minority legal education resources, and equal justice work programs all still are operating today. What strategies did you use to start and grow these organizations?
It was ideas that I had. So like minority legal education resources, there was a professor and this is when I was a baby lawyer, at Northwestern that had a class to help students pass the bar. And these were Black students. And I met them in the commercial bar course the first week. And I was like, ooh, can I join that? Because, you know, I'm looking always to get things to help me pass the bar. And so they went to the professor, Ron Kennedy. He said, no, I went to Notre Dame, didn't go to Northwestern. I didn't get in. So a couple years later, Al Moran was in that group of 5 that I mentioned that got put into this one section, and Al went to Northwestern. I said, is that professor still doing that course? He said, yes. I said, is it still restricted to Northwestern students? He said, yes. I said, well, I think he should open it up. I said, will you introduce me to him and come with me to a meeting? So we set up a meeting. So we met Professor Kennedy. I proposed that. He said, no, I have a 100% track record. My people have all passed the bar. I don't know you, you know. I said, well, how about you train me and some of my friends? We'll have a non-Northwestern group and we'll have a Northwestern group. And if we get the same results, can we talk? And we did. We got the same results. We formed that organization. And I was very active and continued to go once a year, but ran the programs for 4 years till I had my first child. And I just say, and I got my friends to join me. And see, you have convening power. One of the things that's good also about Notre Dame is you're meeting people from all walks of life. So that means you're learning how to relate to people to all walks of life. And you should make it a goal to, like, every day talk to somebody that's different than you that you don't know. Somebody that's different from you that you don't know. And people are always like, I don't know how to communicate. You know, how do I communicate? How do I go? Well, hell, you talk about the snow. You talk about the cold weather. You talk about how much you want spring to come. You talk about pets. You talk about sports. Like, there's so many things that we as people have in common. It's easy, that small talk, really. And I was somebody, when I came to the law school, Notre Dame was so different. You know, the curfews, I had gone to public schools and everybody could, like, be in the dorms at different times. It was, like, more rigid, even though I had gone to Catholic high school and everything. It was very hard for me to, like, adjust to everything. But I met across the hall Kathy Ross. She became my best friend, a farm girl from Iowa. And she helped me, I helped her. We were moot court partners. We were trial ad partners together. Who would have thought? But you just never know. So you have to, like, reach out to others and find out what is their story. Because when you find out their story, a lot of times there are commonalities in all of our stories. And then you can find a basis for humanity. I mean, that's the tragedy of what's happening today, is the polarization. And people are afraid to talk to each other, or they have all these myths, or they're drinking the Kool-Aid on one side or the other, and they can't talk. We have to find a way to communicate with one another. And so I just worked with others, had a good plan, ran meetings on time, had agendas. Like, you have to be organized. You can't ask people to join you and it's some half-assed, half-baked thing. You have to be together, or people won't come with you. They'll come with you to the first meeting, and then they'll see this is not together and people don't have a lot of time. They'll be like, I'm not doing that. So you have to have something to put on the table, and you have to be organized and gather like-minded people.
And I agree. Our third question is from Bernice. She's a senior majoring in business analytics with minors in the business honors program in sustainability and social entrepreneurship. Bernice, what is your question for Judge Williams?
Thank you so much, Judge, for all your wisdom. My question is this. Looking at your experiences, what seemingly small moment changed the trajectory of your life?
So the small moment, there was a few small moments. One small moment was when I was in 6th grade and the students were integrating the lunch counters. And I found a newspaper article I had written called, "What is the Freedom Bus?" And it had to do with students of all races coming to the South doing sit-ins. So that was a seminal moment. Daddy, and that, when I was crying in that class, that was a moment that kind of changed my life and focused. And then the other thing I would say would be Father Ted here at Notre Dame, because Father Ted was the president when I was here. And Father Ted was a former chair of the first Civil Rights Commission in this country. And he brought Howard Glickstein to be on the faculty. And I became a research assistant for Howard. And so with that, people like Vernon Jordan and Nikki Giovanni and all these people came to campus. And so I would say Father Ted and his whole embracing of everyone, his commitment to good, his commitment to doing good, his ability to connect with people, I would say that was the other sort of moment in my life that changed my life.
And lastly, tonight we have Ariana, who is a senior majoring in Africana Studies with minors in ESS, Education, Schooling, and Society, and Gender Studies. Ariana, what is your question for Judge Williams?
First off, good evening, Judge Williams. Thank you for being here tonight.
Are you standing? I can't see you.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have started
Queen.
with that.
Yeah, I know you're another award winner. Yes, you and the young woman over here was like, yeah.
I'm working on being seen, as
Okay.
you can see. You once sat where many of our students are sitting tonight, full of ambition, questions, and possibilities. So my question is, looking back on your time at Notre Dame, what experiences or moments most shaped your sense of purpose?
So I already mentioned Father Ted and how that, but what I didn't say was when I applied for the clerkship, I needed a letter of recommendation. And it was Howard Glickstein that was my letter of recommendation. And that then came through Father Ted, and that then led to the clerkship. And the clerkship was the key and opened the door for me for the opportunity to go to the U.S. Attorney's Office. There were other moments, and one of them, I was assistant rector at Farley Hall, and I shared this with the table, so forgive me if I tell it again. But anyway, my first year, I worked in freshman year of studies. That's where I met Angie in freshman year, I think, of studies. And then I applied to be assistant rector at Farley. Farley was the third hall to become women's hall. And Jean Lenz was the rector. So after we had weathered that first week, and it was very traumatic, and some of the men were coming in, that was my room, and now girls are going to be in there, and, there was weeping and all of that, gnashing of teeth. But some of the men were very happy that the girls were there, and so that was good. But Jean and I were exhausted at the end of the week, so we're sitting on the bench in front of Farley, and she said, because Jean was very, anybody that knew her, she was very honest and she was very direct. But she had this way. She said, Annie, when I found out I was going to have this gung-ho black woman law student as my assistant rector, I said, And I said, Jean, when I found out I was going to have this nun from Joliet, I said, And that was a sisterhood and a partnership that lasted a lifetime. Jean moved into my room after a few years where I had assistant director. Jean was at my swearing in on the district court. She was at my swearing in the Court of Appeals. If you read her book, there's a chapter talking about our lives together. That was a magical thing, something I will always treasure that I think I never would have had anywhere else. Where else could I have been in that dorm room? Because, you know, I had a big black fist on the wall. I know the parents were, oh my God. I had a picture of Angela Davis on the wall. I'm like, oh my God, where have we taken our children? But I was able to connect with the girls in the dorm, and they got to see my heart and my spirit and who I was. And then that let me know also, it reaffirmed that I could relate to everybody, to everybody. I found a way to connect. And, you know, and sometimes went to dinner with them and went to lunch or whatever. And then a level of trust built, and then we could talk about things as human beings. So I think that being an assistant rector was really, really important. And then I remember, too, my first trial ad class, we had an awful evidence teacher. He was a lovely man, Thunder, but we just had an outline and everybody knew it, and so you didn't really learn anything about evidence. And so I was in this trial ad class asking a question. There were all these objections. I didn't know how to respond, but I just kept going. So finally, about the 5th time I gave a response, the judge ruled in my favor. So afterwards, some of the guys were like, how could you do that? Like, there were all those objections, and like, you weren't rattled at all. And I think that had to do with how I was raised. You just keep going till you get it right. And so I remember that moment very well, because then I knew I could do what I needed to do. And then when I got the letter for the 7th Circuit, you know, back in the day, there was no internet. You couldn't see where everything's posted, so there was a box outside the dean's office with all the news, and it was announced that I had this clerkship on the 7th Circuit. And I had not been on law review, and most people who had clerkships had been on law review. They were the top of the class. I wasn't the top of the class. And I know some of my fellow colleagues thought, well, you know, how did she get that? Oh, you know, I bet she got it because she's a black woman. And then, you know, I said, well, you know, when the dean was asked that question by Judge Swigert, the dean could have easily said, I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody that could meet the high standards that you need. But I have somebody. And so he believed in me. Plus, you look around the room, Notre Dame is a broad, big family. They want farm girls from Iowa at Notre Dame. You want veterans at Notre Dame. You want people who come from economically disadvantaged places. You want people who are foreign students. You want relatives of priests. You want to have some of the kids of donors. You want to have all these people. Everybody has a chit. You only got to Notre Dame because you have the capacity. You have the ability. We know you can do the job, but there was something special about you in that letter you wrote. Something special about your experience, and that to me is your chit, and everybody has a chit, and your chit is just as good as anybody else's. So if my chit happened to be that day, Swigert asked, did you have a woman? Is it a black woman? And he said yes. I knew my chit was just as good as anybody else's, so I carried my head high, and I knew I would be ready. And so before I started working for Sprecher, I read 100 of his opinions because I wanted to know exactly how he wrote. So when I did my first draft, he had maybe 3 things of red ink on it, and I knew I was good. But I had prepared myself for that so that I could excel. And so you have to remember there's a reason you're here. Somebody saw something special in you, and you should never forget that and never let anybody suppress that. And be proud of who you are and celebrate who you are, you know, and be happy about who you are, because that, when you have that kind of confidence, your light shines brightly. And when you have a light, people see the light in your eyes. They see the light of passion. They see the light of commitment. They see the light of excellence, and they want to be part of that light. They want you to be brought into the light. So never let your light dim. Hold on to the light.
And thank you so much, Judge Williams. Thank you for all your valuable advice and sharing your story with us all here today. Can we give a round of applause for Judge Williams today? Thank you so much. We thank you so, so much. And thank you all for listening to our fire chat as well. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you. I'll take the mic. Next will be faculty and graduate awards.
All right, we are getting close to the end of our evening, but we still have 4 more exciting awards to present. So to begin, we are going to start with 2 awards for graduate and professional students who do incredible work on our campus. So we'd like to take the time to recognize just all the professional and graduate students in the room. So we'll recognize 2 of those students, and then we'll have a faculty and staff award.
Our next award is inspired by Ida B. Wells' relentless fight for justice and truth, and celebrates a graduate student who exemplifies leadership and courage in driving positive change within the Black community at Notre Dame. A second-year doctoral student at the law school, this graduate scholar fearlessly champions justice and equity for Black and marginalized populations. Her legal research centers human dignity in disaster governance, challenging legal frameworks that too often erase the lived realities of Black and Global South communities. Finally, this graduate student has been a meaningful and impactful role model to our community, where she inspires and encourages other aspiring African lawyers, serves on the board of the Black Law Student Association, and provides guidance and mentorship to those around her without hesitation. Please join me in recognizing Portia Uzurama Shibu. Unfortunately, she could not be here with us this evening.
Our next award honors the legacy of James Baldwin and honors a graduate student who has profoundly impacted the university through service, mentorship, and advocacy. This year's recipient is a 5th-year doctoral student in theology who has profoundly impacted campus life by going above and beyond to mentor peers and undergraduates. Numerous nominators recounted times where our award winner had encouraged them to apply for grants or conferences, never hesitating to make time to review proposals or provide feedback on papers. In addition to his academic mentorship, this graduate student has been a personal and spiritual role model to others, exemplifying Christ's love through his generosity of spirit, warm hospitality, and servant leadership, somehow managing to complete his studies, organize conferences, serve as a trusted mentor, and fulfill his vocation as an ordained priest. Please join me in recognizing our James Baldwin Legacy of Service Award recipient, Father Emmanuel Ojeyefo.
The W.E.B. Du Bois Faculty Excellence Award. The W.E.B. Du Bois Faculty Excellence Award recognizes a faculty member whose scholarship, mentorship, and leadership have elevated the Black community, honoring W.E.B. Du Bois' vision of education as a tool for liberation and progress. Our nominee has worked at the University of Notre Dame since 1998, 28 years. She began her tenure as the Assistant Director of Diversity, but realized her heart and soul belonged to academic advising. Over her 28 years at Notre Dame, she has worked in a combination of faculty-staff role that has served thousands of students. Her passion for education and helping students achieve their dreams have been felt by every single person she comes in contact with. Black alumni regularly return to Notre Dame just to visit her. A nominator stated, "I could go on and on about all the amazing things she has done for Notre Dame and the Black community, but it would take up numerous pages. I am beyond grateful and honored to call to the stage Dr. Gina Shrivya."
Last but not least, the Fannie Lou Hamer Staff Excellence Award celebrates a staff member who has demonstrated extraordinary dedication and service to advancing equity and fostering belonging, embodying Fannie Lou Hamer's legacy of grassroots organizing and advocacy. Although our award winner has only been at the university for a relatively short time, they have truly made extraordinary efforts to fostering belonging in their 2 years here, as noted by both student and staff nominators. Despite the workload and challenges of pioneering a new leadership role at Notre Dame, this staff member puts in tremendous effort to shaping the beloved community, above and beyond his day-to-day responsibilities, by hosting coffee chats with students, checking in with staff and others, and exuding the warmth and consideration that makes others feel truly seen and welcomed. His impact on the Black community specifically is notable through his work as the advisor of the Black Student Association and through his example of Black excellence on campus as the inaugural executive director of the Sister Thea Bowman Center, where you can find him any hour of the day or night, engaging and leading with love. Please welcome to the stage our Fannie Lou Award winner and my grand boss, Dr. Doug Thompson. Let's have a final round of applause for all 8 of our Black Excellence Award winners for 2026.
Now it's my pleasure to present the student body vice president, Sonia Lumney, who will be leading us through her closing remarks.
Tonight, we are gathered in a space that honors excellence, but not the shallow kind that could be measured only by titles, accolades, and resumes. The excellence we celebrate tonight is holistic. It is intellectual, yes, but also spiritual. It is professional, but also deeply human. It is excellence rooted in character and faith in community and encouraged to persist when the world tells you that you do not belong. Black excellence has always been holistic. It has never been confined to one lane or one definition. It is the ability to excel academically while carrying the weight of representation. It is the discipline to lead while also being asked to educate. It is the strength to show up with grace even when grace is not extended to you. And it is the wisdom to know that excellence is not perfection, it's about purpose. At Notre Dame, we often speak about education, both the mind and the heart. True excellence requires both. It demands intellectual rigor and moral clarity. It demands ambition and humility. It demands that we not only strive to be the best in the world, but the best for the world. And that kind of excellence does not emerge in isolation. It's cultivated in community, sustained by faith and strengthened by hope. Hope, however, is not passive. It is not wishful thinking. Hope is an active choice. It is choosing to believe in a future you cannot yet see. It is choosing to stay committed to justice when progress feels slow. It is choosing to remain rooted in who you are when external voices attempt to define you otherwise. Excellence also requires honesty about where we fall short and honesty about the work that still remains. To love an institution is to not ignore its failures, but believe it is capable of more, to believe that it could grow, that it could heal, that it could become a place where every member of this community feels seen, protected, and valued. As many of you know, I've been experiencing constant racial harassment since February of last year. There were moments when the weight felt so unbearable. I remember feeling so broken one night. I called my spiritual grandmother, one of the strongest Black women I have ever known in this life. And through my weeping, I repeated the racist comments that had broken my spirit. And she asked me a simple question. Are you those things, or are you a child of the one true living God? And that question realigned me. It reminded me that excellence is not determined by how others diminish you, but by how deeply you remained anchored in truth. That conversation cultivated my hope. Not just hope for myself, but hope for the future. Hope for a brighter Notre Dame. The Notre Dame the world needs. So as we come to a close tonight, I ask us to all reflect on excellence, not as an endpoint, but as a responsibility. Excellence in how we learn, excellence in how we lead, and excellence in how we treat one another. Let us carry that hope forward for the future generations to surpass all negativity, to transform adversity into purpose, and to leave this place better than we found it. Undergraduates, graduates, faculty, staff, alumni, let us be the example. Let us continue to lead in every space we enter. And let us ensure that our excellence is not only visible, but meaningful, enduring, and rooted in hope. Lastly, I would like for everybody to repeat after me something that Judge Williams had done earlier. I'm empowered. Come on, louder than that. What are we doing here? I am empowered. I'm strong. I'm resilient. And lastly, I am excellent. Round of applause to you all. Okay, lights. Thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate everybody that assisted in putting this on. It was a lot to do, y'all, but we got it and it was good. And a huge shout out to our sponsors tonight. Thank you and God bless. Have a great night.